be on site. Yeah. We about to do it to y'all. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. We came to blow your mind. One time, 2 times, 3 times. Yeah. We came to blow your mind. 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. Yeah. Soul Train.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to Drop Here 36. I'm your boy Third Degree. We got Quez up in the house. How's your week been?
Been beautiful, man. It's Thanksgiving week, brother.
Yeah, man.
Day. Family flying in, enjoying time with the loved ones, man. It's always good.
Man, yo, how was your Thanksgiving, bro?
It was blessed. It was blessed. What about you, man? It's birthday week. You know what I'm saying? And Thanksgiving, and how was that, brother?
I hate to be a Debbie Downer, man. It's still a little like unreal for me, man. Like on certain points, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. You get excited, but then like the realization was that, you know, my grandma's not here to, you know, I've had my grandma for what 38 some, like, you know, Christmases, birthdays and stuff. So this is like the very first month, like her birthday month, my birthday month, my mom's birthday month, that she's not like here. So it's a little, you know, I don't know how to really describe it, man, but you know, shout out to my family, my aunts. They gave me like a cheesecake. They gave me like a Raider clock. You know, my mom to cook some food, some bomb food. You know, I made sure she got her flowers in her car yesterday. You know, they made sure I went to go give her a big hug because it's her first time without her mom. You know, but right. Man, she cooked some bomb food yesterday. Man, I was in a food coma, bro. Like my family's been dope.
Man, that's what it's about right there, man. Through those tough times, man, let the family show up and shower you with the love.
Right, right, man. Man. So, you know, tomorrow's the big day. You know, it's the birthday. So it's gonna be a little, it's gonna be like bittersweet, man. You know, it's bittersweet. I'm always happy about my birthday. I'm gonna get up, do what I normally do. First thing when I get up, like tradition, like clockwork, I put on Coming to America. Because I relate to that whole part, you know, where you saw it is my birthday, you know. Because I'm the chocolate prince, you know. So I'm gonna wake up, do that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Eat me some cheesecake in the morning, and I don't know what I'm gonna do throughout the day. I mean, you know, Benny Honda sent me something for like $30, and you know, I could always go to Cheesecake Factory. I like the Cheesecake Factory, you know what I mean? So bump that stupid lady. Nice. I might do cheesecake for my birthday. I might just stay home and just make it a movie. I just don't know, bro.
Either way, it's your day, man. Do what you wish.
Get drunk and watch The Grinch. You know what I'm saying?
Never wrong.
Check my day. Palm Pilot. Man.
Up though. That's what's up.
Man, y'all tuned in there. How was your guys' Thanksgiving? You can drop the comments. You know, make sure you guys hit the like and the share button. You know, waiting for our folks to get up in here. So far as, you know, me and King Quez, and we're waiting for D, waiting for Melvin, you know, waiting for Tisha. But we got an interesting one tonight. And I know normally what we would do, we would normally turn up, you know, for the birthday, you know, like, you know, the birthday libations and everything like that. But, you know, this is going to be a heavy one. So just to give you a little precursor, it may trigger some folks, especially folks of survivors of abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, any type of abuse. We're going to touch on it. You know, in entertainment news, you know, Diddy, and this was actually happening like while we were having our show last week. We found out that Diddy has settled his lawsuit with Cassie, and it was like breaking news just as we were getting ready to wrap up our show. So, you know, we didn't want to stay on for a whole another hour discussing it, so we decided to make today that. So, but I'm still going to have my apple juice, but we're going to have an open, honest discussion about this case. We're going to break down. We got some questions. I got questions. We're going to hear from people who who have survived and overcame abuse themselves, because and it's not so much, and we're going to ask the tough questions. It's not so much as, us being assholes or jerks, but I do have to assume that role and ask the hard questions, because one of the things that I want to do is I want to kill the ignorance and bring perspective to the situation, because for folks who have never gone through it, being the abused or the abuser, there's certain things that we may be neglectful to as far as like feelings, and it's not so much as like we're being intentional with it. It's just that for us, we're thinking logic, and we're just thinking like, well, how come this and how come that, when it may not be as easy for the people actually going through it. And, and truthfully, I'm speaking to the people out there. And if you are an abuser, I do want you to jump onto this platform, and it's not to judge you or to condemn you. And I'm going to try my best not to, even though I do I feel a certain type of way about people who abuse. But at the end of the day, I do know that hurt people. So it could be a psychological thing. And maybe you were abused as a child, or maybe you've seen abuse growing up in the home. And it just may be something that you want to touch on. And maybe we can get a perspective from you and understand, see how you feel too. So, this is the one thing we created. We created this platform to be an open space to talk about any and everything. Honestly, there's no politically correct thing, because we're not coming in with any malicious intent. And even if we do, we come across people with malicious intent. I have a weapon named Quez who is going to be quick to shoot you down, because he's good with the snaps. I'm good with the snaps, and we can embarrass you, your mama, and your bald headed granny. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to the folks that's watching.
Yeah, there will be no tolerance of disrespect tonight, man. Today is not the day for it.
Word.
What's up, sis?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Tish, how you doing?
How y'all? I'm good. How y'all doing?
Another day, another penny. Can't complain.
That part. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. I had a vegetarian Thanksgiving, so come on with it. So let's get it out the way.
What was it? A tofu turkey?
No, it was not a tofu turkey. No, I saw those and I was like, okay, that's just pushing it. I had greens, black-eyed peas, mashed potatoes with my mushroom gravy. I did have tofu. I had roasted tofu, but it wasn't shaped as a turkey, or I'm not putting it off as turkey. It was roasted. Yeah. Cornbread dressing. Yeah, and I think that's it. Yeah, no mac and cheese this time. I'm watching my carbs.
Hey,
but I missed it. But I missed it because I do. Yeah, because I do make some bomb mac and cheese. So.
Oh, we're going to have to see. So as of right now, you are speaking to the Mac King. You know what I'm saying? I've been battle tested and approved. You know what I'm saying?
Self-proclaimed.
No self-proclaimed here. The king is in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we haven't battled yet, so we're going to have to battle.
I'm ready to battle. I got my cousin out here. What's up, Shantae? I see you.
Yeah,
I'm ready for the smoke.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it to the bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it happen.
We're gonna have to make it.
Let's do that.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
I'm gonna throw my dish on the table too. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bring it in. I want all smoke.
There go. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if it stands the test of time.
Yeah, and it's not vegan, so it's gonna be all the cheese and everything. So
I feel it.
No
I feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please.
I can't do vegan cheese.
Let's go ahead and let's start getting into the shizzo. Y'all ready?
Right.
Man,
I think I'm as ready as I can be.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Well, you know what to do, Quiz.
Man, third, what's the word?
Hey, the word for the third word is perceive, followed by perception. Now, when you Google perceive says to be aware or conscious of something. The second breakdown is to interpret or look on someone or something in a particular way. Let's break that down one more time. Interpret or look on someone or something in a particular way. So that does correlate into the whole thing of what we're getting ready to talk about tonight as far as perception and perceive. Because when we're looking at the whole thing of Diddy and Cassie, we're talking about a media mogul who has, pretty much essentially like a billionaire with Ciroc, DeLeon, Sean John, Bad Boy Music. And, again, one thing that I do know about as far as even being an entertainer myself is the music business. And, it's really image driven. And you have to keep your image on the level in order to sell, whether it be music, whether it be clothes, whether it be food. You're essentially building yourself up as a brand, especially if you're putting out good music. If you're making record labels money and you're going to start making yourself money, you start becoming a brand. So you want your image to be perceived in a certain type of way, which also falls in the line of what we were talking about last week as far as manipulation. Because again, we can do things to manipulate the thought process to make us look a certain type of way or to feel a certain type of way, right. Or, and pretty much to sell like a brand. So again, Hollywood is very, very much image driven. And so when we break down and we look at the thing of perception is a way of regarding or understanding or interpret something. Pretty much like a mental impression. So therefore, if I'm putting out this image like, hey, I'm a squeaky clean guy, I'm a lover of women, I love cheesecake, everything that you're putting out, you're putting it into the media, you're giving them a perception of what it is that you are and what you are as far as your brand and what you're building. So therefore, especially if you're talking about women's rights or advocate, you don't want to, you're talking about pretty much like your audience, your target audience, you don't want to do anything that's going to disarm you or dissuade your female audience from buying into your brand, whether it be your clothes, whether it be your cologne, perfume, whatever it is that you're trying to sell, because the whole intent is to make money. So with the whole recent allegations of Diddy, one of the things that we've seen was Macy's decided not to sell Sean John no more. So there goes a hit to his pockets as far as that. But again, we have some questions about this whole Diddy and Cassie lawsuit because, as far as with me, I thought the whole key thing is if you're actually trying to bring something to the public, you're trying to get justice as opposed to trying to get money. So to just settle, my question is, why would you settle? For Diddy, why are you settling instead of trying to fight and see this all the way through? And Cassie, why are you settling instead of trying to fight and seeing this person in jail if you were a victim of abuse yourself? Like, what you claim within these allegations? So, hey, Jess, I see you. We'll be bringing you on soon. We got someone. We got some folks who want to come on and speak. Anybody that want to come on and speak, just go ahead and hit the link if you see it. I'm gonna drop it right here in the comments. We welcome everybody. We just ask that if you come on, make sure you have your headphones. You're in a spot where it's nice and quiet. We don't need any. We're worldwide. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. 5,000 people on Facebook. I don't know how many people see this on YouTube. So we want to present ourselves and perceive ourselves as classy, non-ghetto, non-idiot.
I was like, so today we be a non-ghetto.
Yes,
just today. Emphasis on today. No, I'm just
kidding. I see you, Melvin. We're going to go ahead and play one of the clips so just to get people caught up on what's going on with this whole Diddy and Cassie situation.
Pop mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of beating and sexually assaulting his ex-girlfriend and singer Cassie. She filed a lawsuit against Diddy in New York federal courts.
All right, TMZ's executive producer Charles Latabaudier joins us now with a look at the allegation. Charles, thanks for being with us. There is a lot to unpack with these allegations for sure. Why don't you walk us through the meat of what she's alleging here?
Yeah, Stephen, Tasha, this is really, as they say, bombshell allegations here, and we want to stress these are Cassie's allegations, and Diddy is denying all of this. But in the lawsuit, she does claim that there was an incident in 2018 here in L.A. that they had gone out to dinner, and after dinner went back to her place. He dropped her off, but she claims that he forced his way into her home and that he forced her to have sex. So she's alleging a rape in that case. And then there's another thing, another allegation is that she says that Diddy several times at different hotels around the country would hire male prostitutes and force her to have sex with them. This is the part of the suit where she's alleging sex trafficking because she's saying that this would happen over state lines, and that would be the reason for filing this in federal court. Those are the most serious allegations in there. There are also some allegations of just domestic violence, domestic battery, and at least one other incident where she hints, she does not call Diddy out for this specifically, but hints that he might have been involved in setting another rapper, Kid Cudi, setting his car on fire.
Wow.
Yeah. No, and it's fascinating because Kid Cudi's people responded saying that's all true, right?
Right. And I think what they were saying is that it is true that Cudi's car was blown up and that it happened sometime after Cudi and Cassie had a brief affair.
Right. Yeah, and I guess.
Wow.
There's been a few bad months for Diddy because just recently,
and it's not over. Mm-hmm.
Well, just recently, I mean, Diddy was in the headlines because Dwayne Keefe D. Davis has been arrested in connection to the Tupac murder. But if you guys are Tupac fans and like I am, like super fan, then you would know that Keefe D. pretty much essentially said that it was allegedly it was like a hit that was carried on or that was kind of like put out there by Diddy. You know, Diddy had kind of alluded to like, yeah. Well, I want to see them gone and something. I'll pay $1 million. Take that. And you know, Tupac beat up Orlando in the hotel, and you know, next thing you know, he ends up shot and then he died 6 days later out in Vegas. But Keefe D. pretty much was saying that it was Diddy who pretty much, gave him $1 million, even though he never received $1 million for that. So, you have people like 50 out there clowning him, you know what I'm saying? 50 has been on that boy's neck. So then, fast forward to November, then we have what we have now with this whole Cassie lawsuit. So I want to ask you guys right now, what are your guys' 3 cents on what you just heard?
Well, it's not even done yet anyway, because I think someone else came out today and filed a lawsuit against him for the same type of stuff. I think somebody within his camp, I can't remember who it was, but he's also being sued for the same type of stuff. Yeah, so it's not done. It is really not done. And then other celebrities are bringing out old clips of him when he made statements about like one of them I saw today, it was Cat Williams and Fat Joe. And Fat Joe was joking on, talking about, man, I'm about to buy you dinner because whatever was going on before that. And he said, I'm going to tell you like I told Diddy, ain't no man going to take me to dinner. So what was that? Right? So it's a lot of clips like that coming out. So I am on the side that he did it. I'm sorry, the payoff was just too quick. It was almost like, hurry up and get this payment done so we can let it go. But then now other people are coming out the woodwork saying that, yeah, he did that. I can't speak on why Cassie took the money. So I don't know if it was a statute of limitations. I don't know what it was because I'm not too familiar with all that background. But I kind of get both. Like maybe she wanted him in the pockets, but I also be like, maybe you should have, to stop him from doing this to other people. Maybe you should have went on and had him prosecuted. But some people don't get the lesson until it hits them in their pockets. So maybe that's what she thought she should do. I have no clue. But, yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to lead off with, first of all, who the hell was still buying Sean John?
I was thinking the same thing when I saw it this morning. I didn't think they still sold it. I thought it was done.
Who's still buying China? Please let me know who you are.
Yeah, I thought it was done.
They're still buying China from Macy's. What's up, Toes?
What's up, Velvet Toes and World Peace? I love that.
Like Meta World Peace.
Yeah, Toes and World Peace. Okay.
But that's seriously a lot to unpack. Like it's so much in there. Like it's kind of absurd. Like the male prostitutes to have sex with your lady and
it's a lot.
Like that's a whole lot, man. Like from a perspective of just being a human being, like and being in a relationship with, You gonna go get some random dudes off the streets to have sex with your girl? Like, you gonna force her to do that? Like, that's crazy.
I agree.
You gotta have a certain
Agreed.
you gotta have a certain mind state to even come up with that idea just in general, let alone carry it out. So yeah, that's my
Disturbing.
thoughts.
I think it has to do with people in different circles, especially when you're of that wealth and everything's the same. They change it. It changes your status. That's why they're more risky. That's why there's a lot of people when they make a lot of money, they change everything in their life. So maybe he's part of the swinger clubs. Maybe that's his sex kink. He's like, I have enough money to buy my own professional porn star. So why not? So it's his kink, and so I don't know. I don't care as long as it's legal and it doesn't involve children. I don't give a fuck.
All right. So with that being said, my thing is so we also heard about this too, and I want to jump into so essentially what he did was he settled, and there was a response from a guy on Instagram, and I want you guys to peep this.
So Diddy didn't want to face the dumpster fires that are coming with this situation. So he decides to settle with Cassie on some out-of-court payout so he doesn't have to face the fire. An innocent man does not settle and just give money away because somebody's saying something. Because if that's the case, anybody could say anything and Diddy would pay out, right? Common sense tells you there's some truth to these claims right here. I don't care what nobody's talking about. So
Man, make sure you guys hit the like and share button. So I want to unpack that just in what he said. So the settlement, and when I'm getting ready to play advocate like I normally do, is that guilt or is that extortion? Because again, for Diddy, wouldn't you want to, if this wasn't true, especially if it's going to be damaging to your brand, of people perceiving you to be an abuser, to be a rapist, to be in everything that's negative with these allegations, wouldn't you want to stop that from messing up your bread and you pretty much making an example out of her? So therefore, no other folks come out of the woodworks trying to think that maybe, hey, you're just going to just pay him out. So, is this a thing of admission of guilt on Cassie's part? Is it extortion? Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. On Cassie's part, is it a thing of extortion? Because if you actually wanted justice and you actually wanted to see this person in jail, I don't think there'd be no amount of money that would make you sit up there and say, okay, we're just gonna let him go and not put him in jail. Because look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly's in jail right now. So why not go out with a criminal lawsuit as opposed to a civil to actually try to get money? So, and is there any type of amount of money that can pretty much pay or cover your emotional damage or distress that you've gone through? So now I want to hear from the folks on what you all had to think.
All right. Well, for myself, I think it has to do with the amount of. Well, let me go back. There's some truth to this whole thing, and so it's how much is it worth exposing your whole life and the deep dark secret. So let's say Diddy was a swinger and all that stuff is true. All that's going to come out in court, but he didn't rape her. And so he'd be like, well, I don't want all this out there. I didn't rape you. And the criminal aspect, it's pretty hard, especially how many years it went by her credibility. Oh, well, you're at fashion shows, you're at all these, you guys went on vacation, you went everywhere that you could possibly leave and not be next to this man, but you still chose to be next to him. Like, what's going to happen if he's on you guys are on the red carpet and you chose to leave? He's not going to chase you down, but Diddy is fucking crazy, so you don't know. But so there's some truth to both sides, I think. But proving criminality is especially in that case is going to be really hard. And she asked for a payout before, so I think she was financially driven.
So before she came forth with these allegations, she was pretty much asking for 30 million to stop a tell-all book that she was actually allegedly working on. And I think he told her no, kick rocks. And so the next thing you know, now here come these allegations. So
she gave him the opportunity to, hey, I'll put this out there. You can buy me off now. A lot of people do it, and it's not. I'm not trying to badmouth her, but a lot of people do that for financial reasons, but other people do it just because they want their story told. But who knows? But Diddy has like 2 or 3 other allegations, and in that small circle, like 50 Cent's commented on, nah, Diddy's weird. There are several other people, celebrities, that was like, yeah, Diddy's watching me fuck this bitch, blah, blah, blah. I forgot what interview it was. I have to look for it.
Aaron Hall.
Oh, yeah. And there's been several people that say, so Diddy was into that kinky sexual experiences, but you have to prove, did he rape her? Did he do those things? And was it like, and that was pretty hard. So for me to just blame him or blame her, I don't know all the facts. So I try to see both sides and perspectives from it. So
the only facts that we can go off of is what's been put out publicly from the lawsuit. I've read the transcripts. I mean, the transcripts is really descriptive. It was a lot. It was like 34, 35 some pages, so the only thing that we can go off of what's been put out there. So those are the facts of what we've seen or what has been alleged. But we don't know what's going on, behind closed doors. That's the one thing, is that it becomes a he say versus she say type of thing. But the fact that he settled so quick, it could be perceived as an act of admission.
But third, just one point, like if you're a lawyer and your whole business is to go after celebrities, you have a format, a text of what to allege, where was he, was he wearing, blah, blah, blah. Let me go look at the pictures. It happened this night. There's always significant events. So there is some celebrities lawyers that go after people, and they have a whole template, and it's like what was it, Tiger Woods? All 14 of them girls came out, and half of them never fucked Tiger Woods. It was just, and they all wrote affidavits saying they did. They all came up, had a script. And so when your business is that, if you always have, you're gonna have one on deck. You're gonna have something. And so, not to cast on real victims, but there are people that take advantage of that. Amber Heard, for one. We saw Johnny Depp got his finger cut off, and he was running away from her, and she said he was and she had the whole world, cost him $500 million, lost his Disney contract. I'm not saying Johnny Depp is the best human, but Amber Heard definitely beat the shit out of him, cut his finger off, and did those things. But we wouldn't have known. Even some of the lawyers didn't put all that was happening into the lawsuit. So there's probably more to it, but we didn't know. And so some people allege certain things just for image wise.
All right. Quiz.
Well, I'm liking to agree with Melvin to a certain extent. Now what I have to do is speak from personal experience. Well, not necessarily experience. I would say from my personal perspective of the fact that right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm going out swinging. Before I give you 30 million, I'm gonna pay some attorneys, and we gonna have to go to court about this, because regardless, because look, you paid the money. It's a lose-lose situation. Let's face it. But whether you did it or you didn't, you lose. In some form or fashion. Now it costs you 30 million, and you still gonna lose some more.
No, it cost 100 million.
Yeah,
they said it was the high 8 figures. So
whatever
or
the
9
case,
figures.
You paid all that money, and you still have to face the court of public opinion. And we talking about it now, and you're still gonna probably lose more, because now it's a free for all. Diddy got the bag, and he giving it up in less than 24 hours. Let me remember that time he bumped me at the table. You know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of that felonious stuff going on, which is going to take away from the real issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a bad decision. Even if you were gonna pay, I think you should have kind of drew this out a little more. You know what I'm saying? Not same day payment. Same day payment kind of says
It kind of looks like you're admitting guilt. I agree.
says guilty.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know, since this has happened in like, what was it, 2018 or something like that, like been a while. Like I said, I don't know if it's been statute of limitations have been, expired as far as the criminal act goes. Like, I don't know all the details. I didn't get a chance to read the court documents, so I have no clue. But the quick payoff, it just kind of looks like I want to hurry up and get this cleared out the way. So let me just pay her so she can be quiet. And and he might be right. She might have, during the court, might just drop every little nasty little thing that he has done with other people, with her. Like, maybe he didn't want all them details coming out in court.
Right.
Yeah. So
I
just don't like the.
What you also have to remember is we did just watch Johnny Depp go through this. Like, and it was ugly.
Yeah,
the whole
it
thing
was very ugly.
And had the world
for that
watching.
man to be innocent. That was an ugly case for that man.
And we had the whole world watching. It was
entire world
jumped to conclusions about that event, based on whatever they preconceived notion they had about him, maybe being an alcoholic or this or that, and drug that man through the mud,
right,
in front of the world, for him just to be innocent.
Yeah.
And now he, not only did he have to fight through that, now he still got to piece his life back together.
Yeah. I think it's I think the water is too muddy for Diddy to win. So think about it, like if he was a swinger or he was in the lifestyle and he was kinky, because a lot of people said that, how is he going to prove that he wasn't when he actually is, but he didn't rape the person or he didn't break these rules? So it's like, yeah, I was there, but I didn't rob the store. But you ran out with the robbers. Oh, well, I don't know. You can't really defend yourself. So how is he going to defend himself if he's an avid swinger and he's an avid and he has those Ashley Madison or male escorts, and he's like, well, she agreed, blah blah blah. Well, how do we know that? And so it muddies the water. There's no win, like Quez said. Either way, you're gonna get dragged and whatnot. I think he should have just paid her the 30 mil before, but I think his ego got in the way, because if that's all they were asking, and now he paid up to 100 mil. So for a billionaire, it's not that's 1/10 of your wealth. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but versus your whole life, your whole legacy, your kids, your family going through all that. It was on CNN. It was all over the news. Just the allegation. Imagine, wait till they get some details and they're like, yeah, he went to this party. Yeah, he watched this. Like, it'll go crazy. So he should have paid off.
He's held well. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, LT. I talk too much.
No, I'm saying I think he's had, and I think he's had weird parties at his place. I could have sworn I read somewhere where and my mom was telling me too that she had read somewhere that he used to have these really weird parties. I think one of them, they said he had like bathtubs out. I'm not sure. Don't quote me, but look it up and let me know if I'm right. But he just seems weird. So yeah, maybe he just didn't want all that out there. And plus too, if you're in a relationship and you're being, you're accusing your husband or whatever significant other of rape, that is hard to prove because you're in a relationship where you guys are sexually active. So it's hard to prove that your husband or, or your wife or whoever is taking it from you. So maybe they didn't want to have that all just dragged out in court. And maybe that's why it was a settlement instead of court.
Yeah, because the water's too muddy. It's just, it's too muddy.
So that would lead to my next question is, so why now? You know what I'm saying? Because again, I think like Letitia said, this happened 2018 or so. I mean, so before that, I mean, we've seen her out and about with Diddy. We've seen the music videos. We've seen the clips at the award shows, the red carpets, and all this stuff, the publications and all this stuff. And there was never no indication, and never no hint that this has been going on. So, with this to actually happen now, I know she's married now to a new person that has some kids, but I'm not trying to be mean, but let's just say for putting it out there, she's not necessarily like the world's best singer, the world's best entertainer. I mean, we can only really name like maybe like one Cassie song, maybe two.
I don't know.
Maybe some features, but I don't think that she necessarily writes. So when Diddy was writing out these checks to give their artists back their publishing, I don't think she necessarily got a check for publishing. So I'm saying that all to say is that I don't know. Is she on hard times? Is this why she's deciding, hey, well, I can cash in on a tell-all book on Diddy. Well, I'm gonna go to him and get this 30 million. You give me 30 million and I won't say nothing. Yeah, because then you don't have to work no more. So why now?
There's different reasons for a lot of abuse people to come forward. Look at Johnny Depp. He didn't come forward at all. He was getting abused. He didn't come forward. Amber Heard, she was taking some of the abuse from Johnny Depp, and she came forward, but she also lied on half of the other shit. So they were both wronged, and one pretended they were not the evil, hideous person that they were. Johnny Depp was guilty of some things, but he wasn't as bad as Amber Heard. And Amber Heard came forward, Johnny Depp didn't. Some people wait 10 years because they go through it and they're not in the right mental space, and you have to hit rock bottom. Sometimes you have to, like, your whole life has to be shit, and then you got to get your life back together, and then you have to reach that stage to deal with it. It's kind of like when you're mourning a death. Some people could deal with it right away. After the funeral, they say, okay, I said my goodbyes, I move on with my life. Other people, it'll be just something that triggers it, and they're like, fuck, that person's gone. And then it spirals down from there. So people are different. I don't like to question the victims. All I'm saying is it's too muddy for us to really pick a side. Yeah, it looks guilty because it was so fast, but it could be he didn't want his life exposed. So,
you guys got any thoughts? You guys want to add to it?
No, and about the why didn't she say something sooner? Like, I'm a person who was abused as a child, and I didn't tell my parents anything until I was like 35. And so the reason being is because I didn't want to disrupt family. I was embarrassed. And it's not that I didn't think my parents would be on my side and stand up for me. I knew that. I knew I can come to them and tell them things. But it happened all the way up until I was like 18, 19 years old. So how, when you're at an age where you're supposed to be an adult and you should be like fighting for like, no, I don't want this to happen to me, but you're still going through it. There's a judgment behind it that some people don't want to go through. And that's why they keep it to themselves. Also, too, if you've already been mentally abused and you haven't sought out the type of therapy that you need, it can just roll over to the next relationship. So that happening to me as a child triggered other things that happened to me in relationships. Like, I'm a survivor of domestic violence or intimate partner violence. And why I stayed is because, like, when they break you down first, it's all your mental. So all your self-esteem, your self-worth, all of that is broken down first. And they just love bomb you, make you think that they're just like the best person in the world. They are fully there for you. They love you. They're never going to hurt you and all that. So you build that trust. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it might be something simple. I'm not going to say simple. It might start with mental, trying to control how you dress, who you're around, where you go, watching you, making sure you're home at a certain time, telling you you're not worth anything without them, saying that you're never going to meet anybody, like nobody's going to love you the way I love you, stuff like that. And you really be thinking like you want to run and you want to get out. But then when the beatings start, you really get scared. You really think that you're stuck and that you cannot get out of this, because if he catches you, because you can't move out of a different state if you don't have the financial backing. You can't run and hide because you've been hiding it from your friends. So your friends are not even there to be like, come on, I'm gonna keep you here, I'm gonna keep you safe. So you've been doing all this hiding to hide his behavior so he don't look some type of way in the streets, because you done hyped him up when he was love bombing you. So you don't want to look stupid, you don't want to feel some type of way. And so you hold it and you endure and you endure and you endure until you can't anymore. And for me, it got to a point where I snapped. Like I really had to. I snapped. It's amazing that I'm not locked up because I snapped. So it's a different time. It's different for every person. Some people are able to be like, oh hell no, this ain't going on with me. I'm out right away. Some people have to go through it. So when the next time it happens, they're like, oh no, hell no, I'm not going through it again. I can't tell you a time frame of why she waited so long or why anybody waits so long. It's just, like I said, for me, it was just a mental breakdown first.
So I was gonna get to that. There's a whole nother segment when I went to actually talk about abuse. So you kind of segued into that already, but more so with this whole Cassie thing. Hold on, Kendra says, "What's up, D? How you doing?"
Hey, how you guys doing? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, D.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Kendra saying Cassie is talking now because the Adult Survivors Act in New York ends on 11/23, so she had to file it before it ended. I can respect that.
Yeah,
I can definitely respect that.
Well, isn't there another girl that's now just filed too?
Let me show you. Because that's kind of what I wanted to get into also.
Hey,
Diddy Combs is facing another lawsuit over sexual assault allegations. This new claim filed yesterday in Lower Manhattan alleges Combs drugged and sexually assaulted a woman in 1991. The lawsuit accuses the entertainer of videotaping the assault and distributing the tape to other people in the music industry. Last week, Combs settled a sex assault lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie. When asked about the new lawsuit, a spokesperson for Combs said, quote, Mr. Combs never assaulted her and she implicates companies that did not exist.
I'm sorry, Cliff, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just going to say real quick, because we got a guest that's been sitting down there, but if you turn your camera on.
She turned off her camera, so she'll probably come back soon.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. We didn't want to ignore you, down there.
But your camera's off.
Turn your camera on, we'll bring you back up.
Yeah,
gotta turn your camera on. There she go. She's been waiting a while, so I wanted to give her chance.
Right. How you doing, Jessica? Mic check. Can you hear?
I'm doing good.
Good. All right, so D, so you were talking about about another person who.
Yeah, that's it. It's another that there was another one that was well, they have been saying there's supposed to be a whole bunch that are coming out, not just and that there will be some that are men. So I don't know what's going on, but and I can't remember which one. You know what I'm talking about, Keisha? So
yes, I do. I saw that too.
Yeah, so it's about to be an explosion. You think they came out with Bill Cosby and R. Kelly and all that? This is different because he actually put hands on people. Like he actually was doing too much. You know what I mean? And they even got videos of him doing certain stuff, like catching the moment when he did stuff, especially with Cassie. They had some with her. But the whole thing is like they said that he only settled because his businesses, she went for his businesses as well, LLC and all these, but she should because she's an artist. So, I mean, that's supposed to happen. But this next one is going to hit hard. That's going to hit the media hard.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not done.
It
is
it's
not
just
done.
started.
As we close up so we can get into the meat and potatoes of this, let me ask you guys something. Do you think Diddy is canceled?
Oh, definitely. He been canceled, really, but
okay, I was
he's
like,
canceled.
To me, he has been.
Yeah,
but we'll see
I
where
don't think
this
he's canceled yet.
I
don't think it's yet. Yeah, I don't think it's yet, but to me, he's been. Like we said, we didn't even know that Sean John was being still sold in Macy's or any other store. I thought that was done.
I am still curious who is buying the Sean John.
Because I haven't seen anybody with Sean John since what, the movie that Love Don't Cost a Thing. That's the last time I seen hype about Sean John.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, but I don't think
gonna
it's
say
yet.
It like this. Sean John was hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the clothes.
No, it was.
in the
Yeah.
90s.
Sean John
Yo,
jacket.
it was.
It was
Yeah,
amazing
it
in the
was.
90s.
But now we're in 2023 going into 24. I didn't think it was still popping like that.
1995, Sean John was the shit.
Yeah.
Man.
It
That
was.
over.
But
It's done.
Yeah. He wanted somebody to buy it, like but it's his name, so nobody was gonna buy it like they did with Baby Fat and all the other ones did it. But he was a hard person to work with the designing. You know what I mean? And for the things that he wanted to do, he would have to raise the price up even more, and the sales was not coming in like that. But I mean, even his glasses were hard. Like, I mean, I had got my son's son. I didn't even know he had made glasses too. Eyewear. He had been making a whole lot of stuff, but designers can't work with him. You know, he think he the boss of everybody, but that's not how it go. You know,
Man. So I mean, we heard about him dislocating Drake's shoulder. He allegedly blew up Kid Cudi's car. Allegedly was hanging Wale out of a window or something like that. You know, trying to fight Kendrick Lamar. You know, saying putting hits out on Tupac. I mean, is Diddy really like? Is Diddy really the Suge Knight? Is Diddy really Suge Knight? And Suge Knight is really Diddy? Like,
no, he had bodyguards doing that. He didn't do it himself with his hands. He got bodyguards.
He dislocated Drake's shoulder.
That's the intelligent way to move.
Yeah.
You saw it?
That's the intelligent way to move. When you got that kind of money, you pay
right.
Yeah, like with mob bosses, they don't do that stuff on their own unless it got way up there to where the people he called didn't do their job. No, so they called the shots. Yeah, so that's what he thinks he is right now.
I can't wait till they get to Superhead. When they get Superhead interview, watch what's gonna happen.
Done. Yep.
Because I read the book years ago, and I was like, "What the hell?" Wait till Superhead gets her interview.
Yeah, I agree. Diddy did a lot of things himself. Like, again, he dislocated Drake's shoulder. Like, him and Drake got into a fight and dislocated the shoulder.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
So from what Gene Deal, shout out to Gene Deal. He's on YouTube, but he put it out there like he said Sean Diddy Combs actually got hands. Like, he could actually fight. So I don't know, man. Diddy, again, it's a whole thing about perception and wanting people to perceive you to be one thing. And I think he's played possum good enough to where we thought that he was just, dancing all in the videos, Mr. Diddy, love everybody, love. But, it seems like he's out here doing some underhanded shit.
He didn't fight DMX.
Diddy been on demon time, man. You know what I'm saying? Cut it out.
Yeah.
A little lesser known fact. I was actually almost signed to Bad Boy, so that's a little lesser known fact.
That's what abusers do, though. They don't be out in the street just being like, hey, I'm an abuser. No. They going out there making it.
Yeah. I would imagine they look like normal human beings.
Yeah.
Right. Man, so how you doing, Jessica?
I'm doing good.
You're good. Nice to see you. Well, welcome. Welcome to Drop Your 3 Cent.
Thank you.
Right on. Welcome.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on from Diddy. And we're going to talk about abuse. Now, again, we're doing this because we've created a safe space. This is an open platform to where we can actually have these talks. And again, if you want to join on, click the link. There's no right or wrong answer in this. And again, we want to hear from everybody, but I want to kill some of the ignorance, for those who have not gone through it or who are not abusers themselves, just to kind of come up with like some type of understanding and just get a different perspective and hearing, some of the different things that, from people who have overcame it and who've actually lived through it. So, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and show a clip of like some stats of abuse.
2 years ago, the CDC issued a report on female murder victims. The numbers were shocking. It showed more than half, 55%, died as a result of domestic abuse, primarily from their male partners. Black and Native American women were killed at a rate that was 2.5 times that of white or Asian women. We spoke to a domestic violence survivor from Fairburn who started a counseling service to help other survivors.
The men who are doing the killing and the abusing pretty much get a slap on the wrist. Even if they do kill the woman, they may only get 8 to 15.
Grant was shot 4 times by her husband in front of their children before he turned the gun on himself. She said he'd never been physically violent before, but was emotionally abusive. Here are some warning signs. If your partner tries to isolate you or tell you who you can and can't see. Grant says abuse can often start as a control issue and then escalate to violence.
Dang. It's a sad thing that people have to go through, especially women, men, boys, girls. And it's, for me, and I'm going to say this, and I know I was trying not to be, judgmental, but for me personally, dudes, men, if you're out there abusing women, first off, I'm going to say it just like this, you're weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're stronger physically than a woman. So why are you taking out your anger and your aggression on a woman where you have to hit her? You know what I'm saying? That's for punks and that's for suckers. So if you ever feel the need of you're getting that angry with a woman, the best thing for you to do is just to walk away. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be putting your hands on nobody. Even people, and again, I get it and I understand it from a psychological standpoint. Hurt people. So we don't know what their past lives have been. We don't know what your past life has been. But I think that you're a weak sucker if you're not getting the type of help that you need. So you're not projecting your hurt onto other people, especially women, because these women are our sisters. They're our mothers. They're our aunts. They're our cousins. They're our wives. They're our daughters. They're our nieces. And I know, speaking, for Quez, I know personally, saying if it's one of my nieces, if it's a woman within my family, me and you're going to have problems because I'm going to beat you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But again, this was one of those things. So if you are an abuser, just be man enough to admit it, admit your mistakes, admit your faults, and then try to seek help. But I would love to hear from you because I would love to hear your perspective. But I just don't get it. How about y'all?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that it's a sickness. You know what I'm saying? It's a sickness, and that I think that sometimes I think that I know that they know what they're doing, but I'm saying like when they snap, or it's an easy person for them to take their frustration out on. You know what I'm saying? I've been choked. I've been, dealing with that, but I'm one of those ones that my mindset was like, oh, this ain't love. I ain't about to be dealing with this right here. But I tried not to tell my family members because I knew that they would come and kill him. So I didn't need them placed in, prison. But I also knew not to make sure I get myself in that type of situation again. Like I would never move in with nobody until I knew for sure that it was the right thing. Because a lot of times it happens behind closed doors that you live with them. You know what I mean? Because I can't understand, like, if a person is going home to her own apartment, how is she getting abused? And don't get me wrong, there's men that are abused too, because we had a lady and gentleman in our church, and she would beat her husband so bad. Like, this man would come to church with a black eye, and we're like, well, what happened to him? Because you never think that mentality. You always think automatically it's a man that's doing the abusing. But then there's women that will do it too.
Right.
So.
Very much so. Man, it's just ugly, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be hesitant to an extent. I want everybody to have their chance to speak before I ask some questions, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Right. Yeah, touch minds. You on the hit list. I'm gonna leave it at that. You mess with minds, man. It's gonna be a bad day.
I heard that.
It's definitely gonna be a bad day.
So, I mean, like, the thing is I was actually, again, I was getting ready to ask. That was one of the questions. Is I guess the number one question is, because especially with this whole Cassie thing, is why stay? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do people stay after the first time? Like, if this person is showing you who they are, you know what I'm saying, and they lay their hands on you, or they show you some type of anger, or especially with hitting, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it that they're actually giving them a second chance, or believing the goodness in them? Like, what is it that makes a woman want to stay with a person like that? And then at the same time, after the first time, we could just say maybe we could chalk it up to a mistake. Maybe this person just lost. But after like the fifth time or continuous times, why?
That is a very good question, sir.
Only people can answer that. Like, it's different situations. I think maybe they are trying to see the good in them, because maybe they was with him for so long. Like that one little last clip you did, the lady was with him for so long and he hadn't ever been like that. You know what I mean? And then he changed to being like that. So it could be something that could trigger them, and maybe they think, well, I'll give him a second chance because he was never like this before. You know, times might have started getting hard. You know, a lot of times people was losing jobs during COVID. You never know what could happen. So I think it'd be sometimes with that, or sometimes some men, you know, it's rejection, like, you know, from a woman, and then she feel bad because if he says he gonna kill himself, you know what I mean? Or kill both of them. You know, she thinks that it's okay to do that. You never know. It's you know, women are gonna try to see the good in a man if she's giving him that much time, but I think that she'll probably never get nobody else. You know what I mean? Some women want some kind of man without, and not have no man at all.
That's very, very true.
That topic came up yesterday. We was talking about that old saying from women in previous generations, saying it was better to have a piece of a man than no man at all, and how that doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's toxic. That's the toxic traditions that we pass on.
yeah, that's like if you grew up under some of that tutelage, like, what are you willing to accept?
And then what are you showing your kids?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was one of my next question is, well, hold up, Jessica, do you have anything? Do you want to add anything as to why you think people stay?
Well, for my situation, it was he was, of course, nice and kind in the beginning. I think at first it was shock that it even happened the first time. So of course I'm gonna think, well, of course I thought, you know, well, maybe he won't do this again. He was just upset. So I'm gonna give him another chance. And of course, with these type of men, that some actually portray themselves as, oh, if I ever see anyone, you know, like mess with my sister or, you know, put hands on my sister, I'm gonna, you know, put hands on them. They make themselves perceive to be not that type, you know? So of course I'm thinking like, it's not going to happen again. So I'm going to give him another chance. Then it happened a second time. And I was like, okay, you know, he was upset. Give him another chance, because they come with, oh, please don't go. I'll change. I'll go to counseling. I'll go to anger management. They come with all that stuff. And then, of course, they say, just anything like, I love you, I'll change. So that's why I believe a lot of women stay, because these men are saying that they're going to change and they don't. With me, like, it happened a third time. That was it for me. I didn't press charges because that would cause me to have to go to court and relive everything all over again. So I completely get why Cassie asked for money. I wouldn't want to relive it. So why would any other woman want to relive that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just
That's a good point.
That's a very good point, because even with me sharing what I just shared a few moments ago, it took a lot to hold back tears, because as you start to explain it, you can literally see yourself going back through all that again.
Reliving it.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I don't mind. I'm very transparent, because ever since the first time I told my story to someone, I've helped other people who was going through the same thing that I didn't know, but it's rough. It is definitely hard to relive it.
And LT, sorry, I got cut off when you were telling your story.
Okay.
I wanted to hear that, and I didn't want to be disrespectful. I got cut off, so sorry.
Well,
No problem.
watch the rebroadcast on YouTube. You're going to subscribe.
It's all good. I know you didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, so I just wanted to offer my apologies, though. Either way,
accept it, but I didn't think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
we're good.
Adoration, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm sorry. I was confused about the time again. I'm in Thailand now, so
Oh
my time
no.
zone situation.
Oh, passport,
Passport girl. Passport girl.
That's why I said stop talking about passport bros out here. Leave us alone.
Passport girl.
Passport sis. So man, so Jessica, thank you for sharing that. You're looking beautiful today.
Jeff
Appreciate you.
Blaze.
Thank you.
You brought some perspective to it. That definitely makes sense. So I appreciate that part.
So it brought like because Tisha kind of hit it, or I think it was someone hit it. My thing is, so will we consider that like a generational thing where it's something that happened from from parent to parent to parent and is being passed down to children? Are people repeating cycles? Do you believe that to be true, or do you believe that it's just something that's internal within other people? Again, hurt people, or do you think that they suffer from abuse themselves? What are your guys' 3 cents on that?
I think that's hard to judge because every situation to me would seem like it's independent of each other. Like there's no set. To me, looking at it from the outside in, there's like no set pattern. And I think from listening to what they said, it like none of them expected it from where it came from. So it's not like you can be like, oh yeah, you got a fucked up family, so he probably gonna beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that's how that works. So that's kind of hard to see. But I think there is a flaw in some individuals that have been damaged by upbringing and family and maybe abuse themselves that retrograde back into inflicting that pain on others that they have been challenged or dealt with. So I do think that has a part to play in some of it, but I wouldn't say all situations. But I do think there's a small percentage of individuals who been through that situation themselves and in turn decided to inflict that pain and fear on others.
Right.
Yeah, it can be many reasons. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because the person who did that to me, like the family seemed normal. Like I didn't hear about any types of abuse from anybody else in that family. Like I met quite a few people in the family because we had dealt with each other for a while. So it was definitely no caution signs or red flags within the family that gave me a hint to like, girl, run now. Like, I didn't get any of that. It's different. And then sometimes it can be from just a person just being extra narcissistic and want to control everything, because that he was too. Also, it can come from a man who's been hurt by women and figure, ain't no woman gonna run over me like that again. So I'm gonna control the situation that I'm in, because that was another issue that I seen before with someone else. Like it's a bunch of things. And it also too, like from the first example, it doesn't necessarily have to be within their generation, within their family, and no hurt. They can just have that personality trait that wasn't triggered by anybody in their family.
Yeah.
So it's hard to determine.
I think it's crazy because every family most likely has somebody that's that psychopath. Hey, don't go hang out with that person because you're gonna get in trouble. They don't care. They for the streets, and so it's just people. I don't believe hurt people are prone to hurt more people, but not everybody that is hurt or was hurt is gonna hurt another person.
Agreed.
Because you could be the victim of abuse and then say, you know what, the cycle ends with me. I'm not going to beat my kids. I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to put myself in these situations. And the cycle of toxic ends with me. So sometimes it takes the emotional intelligence to stop the cycle until you finally heal, because it's a healing process. And a lot of people don't heal. So they don't go through that process and they just continue what they know. And once you reach that point, you're like, okay, I understand myself. This was what actually going on. I can't blame myself for any of this. It's X, Y, and Z. Then they're no longer a toxic person and they're trying to end the cycle of abuse and whatever else is going on. So
Man, this is crazy that I a lot of women suffer in silence, You know what I'm saying? Like, again, we don't know. It's crazy to think that we could be in the store, right? And we're passing by a woman and we don't know her story. We don't know she could be a woman, a victim of abuse. She can be getting abused at home, or your daily interactions with people, and it sucks that has to happen. Even with like I think Tisha hit up on it, or was it D? That men. We've been hearing that men get abused too. And it's kind of crazy to hear about that also. I think I want to show another statistic, that because again we've talked about domestic violence, but then also there is sexual violence as well. And this is another clip that I wanted to share and bring with some more stats.
When it comes to sexual violence, it's important to know the facts, but there are just a few other things you should know. Sexual violence includes rape and any other unwanted sexual contact or experience. About 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual violence in the form of physical contact at some point in their lives. Violence starts early. Before the age of 18, 8.5 million women first experienced rape. Victims of sexual violence can experience depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Sexual violence impacts everyone. Its effects ripple through families, neighborhoods, and workplaces. But we all play a role in its prevention. Public health, businesses, schools, communities, and you can work together to stop sexual violence from happening in the first place. It's about addressing and understanding the root cause of why people single others out for cruel or unjust treatment. It's about promoting attitudes and behaviors for equality and respect. It's about implementing bystander intervention training, meaning teaching people when to stand up and speak out, creating safe spaces, and encouraging healthy relationships for everyone.
Man, so I want to apologize again to everybody that's out there. If this is triggering, if this is something that you've experienced, if this is something that you've dealt with or you're dealing with, again, my heart goes out to you. My prayers go out to you. I think, what Jess had kind of alluded to is that, you hear some people say, well, my sister this, now hurt somebody. I know my track record's been proven. I've gotten suspensions. I got put up for expulsions, all behind women. And it wasn't necessarily women from anything with me. It's pretty much protecting them because they either got called a bitch, I've heard rumors, or they've got touched on or something. And then I snap, because if I consider you like, especially if you're my friend, if I consider you like a sister, I'm saying, I snap. And I've done it before. I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying, but at the same time, I mean, we as men, our number one objective is to protect. And especially men who have been raised by single mothers. We were raised to be the men in the house. So our first thing, our first objective, our first priority is to guard, to try to protect your mother. And then, Lord forbid, if you have sisters, saying, your next job is to protect your sisters. So I know Quez can attest to this, especially being the older brother and being a big brother. You have to keep some type of level of crazy. Because what I'm saying, like, you have to be able to protect your people that you love, because one of the things that I've talked with somebody about before was that they had to sit up there and watch their mom get abused, which is why they sat up there and they learned they learned how to fight. So they, in a way, because they wanted to learn how to protect their mom so it wouldn't happen to them. So, and then, which is another thing that's sad, is that I've heard like so many stories about women. I have so many women friends who have been victims of sexual abuse, and I mean, they wear it so they pack it so deep to where it's like you would have no idea that is something that they've actually gone through or experienced. And some of the women that I've known have experienced it as little girls. So again, if this is triggering, I definitely want to send my apologies to you. It's not meant for that. We just want to have an open and honest discussion. And maybe, because again, if somebody, hopefully my whole goal for this platform is when we talk about certain things like this, is that if there's somebody watching that's going through it, or that's gone through it, or they know what it looks like before it even happens, that, it's okay to speak up, especially when it comes to rape. When it comes to rape, go to the police as soon as possible. Don't wait, because the sooner that you can actually go is that the police can collect evidence. You'll have a stronger case, because the minute if you're waiting like 3 years, 4 or 5 years, it's harder to prove. It's harder to try to even seek justice. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the better thing is, no matter how you may feel about yourself or what you think you may be perceived as, I think for in the long run, you'll be perceived as a hero or a heroine. Just basically for stepping up and having the courage to actually try to fight back in your own way. So I just want to just give that before I want the panel to speak on how they felt about certain things as far as even what that goes.
We're gonna leave this one for the ladies, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's really hard for people to admit that they've been through that. And I can say that personally. Sometimes you go through something and you try and say like it's not that. You know what I mean? You're like, oh no, that wasn't that. You know, you try and like, because you want to be strong. And from what I've been learning over the past years, it's not just women either. A lot of times, it's men as well. You know, I just found out on some random podcast, and it was a podcast, and then there were comments below, and the guy on the podcast, she asked him, when did you lose your virginity? Like, what was your first time like? And she's like, was it special? She said, was it special? And he goes, oh no, not really special. He lost it to his babysitter when he was 8. And I'm like, what? And there were so many men in the comments like, yeah, same. And the rhetoric is, I didn't get raped. You know what I mean? Or something that didn't happen to me. And I can say that I had a brother who was a predator, and you know what I mean? But I never took his predatory actions as predatory until I got to be a grown ass woman, and I'm in a relationship, and my ex asked me, he's like, why every time, you know, I touch you kind of flinch? He's like, and I was just like, well, I don't, you know, all my life I thought I never had a boyfriend before, so I don't do this stuff. So maybe that's why. But I learned later that it's because of stuff that you actually don't know that even happened to you, or you don't classify it as that, if that makes sense. Our mind creates these realities to protect ourselves. That didn't happen. That's not what happened. So a lot of men and women have been through things that their mind has created this barrier so that they, you know, these are defense mechanisms that save you at the moment. But we have to go back and take a look into our history and be like, because it still affects you, whether you think it affects you or not. I even noticed with him, when he would fall asleep in the middle of his sleep, like he, you know, fall asleep in my lap or something, I'd be chilling, he'd be chilling, and then he'd be like, and I literally asked him, like, what is, like, are you okay? Like, I used to pray and be like, something's wrong. And so I could detect that something had happened to him in his past, maybe during his sleep, that made him scared and made him react like that when he's around people he doesn't know very well. So I start saying that there's a lot of therapy that needs to go on, even beyond what you think you don't need. I'm the first person to be like, I don't need therapy. I grew up in a good Christian household. You know what I mean? We had it down pat, this, that, everything was perfect. But there are things that your mind will not allow. It won't allow you to associate this as this is what happened to me. Usually the people that are able to speak out are people that got to a head of like, okay, this is bad, I need help. But a lot of people, they need help and don't even know it. Your inner child is screaming, you don't even feel it. I remember when I first said it out loud. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I think it's a thing where you don't want to look weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of touched on it earlier. I mean, you know, as far as like being a man, and especially when it comes to the sexual nature, when we were younger, especially like, you know, in our teens, you know, or maybe even younger than that, you know, I'm gonna put it out there. I mean, I was felt up by a girl who was older than me, you know what I'm saying, at a young age. And, you know, we never really looked at it as you know, anything wrong with that. We looked at it as, hey, we're getting kudos, you know what I'm saying, from our friends because, you know, we older girl, so older. I'm talking about like she was in like high school, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. And I'm over here in elementary, you know, so I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, you get looked upon, you get kudos for it. But on the flip side, if it would happen to a girl, then it's definitely looked upon as bad. And the cold part is, even like within school, especially like Quez can attest to this, we knew girls who were 15, 14, 15 dating Marines. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like
grown ass
teachers, dating Marines. And like you said, it goes both ways. There's teachers, grown men and grown women, messing with children. And like you said, the young boys think, oh, I'm grown, I'm bagging this older girl. And the young girls think, oh, this older boy likes me. This older man likes me. That's a big thing with girls too. Like, oh, an older guy likes me. Like, but that's not, we sweep it under. And like you said, we go into this defense mechanism in our mind that, okay, that was not, like if you talk to a lot of young victims, unless it gets really bad, it's like, oh, that was an abuse. That was a relationship, this, that, and the other. Or it is hard to admit it. But I remember when I realized that it was even a problem is when I was mad at my ex for some reason. We had broken up and, we were outside crying and da-da-da-da. I'm just telling him, like, you need therapy, like this, that, the other. I'm like, I need therapy too. And I just said it out loud for the first time in my life. And I had a complete panic at that moment. I couldn't speak anymore. I couldn't breathe. I just lost, like, the whole night. I couldn't speak anymore. He had to literally like take me home, and we was like, what happened? And I realized, like, oh, the first time in your life admitting that, because I'm the first person to be like, nah, you know what I mean? I don't listen. And I realized that, there are reasons why you are the way you are. And it takes a lot of digging and some therapy to actually get past problems. Because just because we mask problems like they're not problems, they're internally ruining you. I know I missed the whole Diddy thing. But a lot of people are talking about, oh, she came for it, she just wanted money, da-da-da-da. But I'm like, listen, until you really speak out and speak your truth, that goes for all of us on this podcast, you don't actually get over this stuff. This stuff is killing you every single day. It does not leave you. I'm a grown 27-year-old woman. Anything that happened to me happened back when I was 10, max 12. It affects my relationships today.
Right.
I was in a relationship with a guy who had no idea. I had no idea. He noticed it before I even noticed it. He was like, are you okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? So
I hear you.
These things.
I hear you too. Because when I went through it, one of my friends told me, well, whatever you've gone through, it just made you stronger. No, it didn't. It made me learn how to smile while I'm going through hurt, so nobody else can tell that I was going through it. It made me have panic attacks, deal with anxiety. I couldn't deal with like, I'm short, so when my boyfriend, my ex now, but he was over 6 feet, and when we walked, he used to just touch the back of my neck, innocently. I would freak the hell out.
Right there.
So it did not make me a stronger person. And it just taught me how to hide things, because I didn't want outside people judging me or asking me questions about things that happened in my past. And I thought that was a way of dealing with it, but it was not a way of dealing with it. I have literally gaps in my childhood that where my mom asked me about or tell me about things I used to do, I don't remember them. It's like a black. It's just black. It's like when a movie's over and the screen go black. That's what it is. I don't remember it. And so that's this, and I had to breathe.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Hey,
like, people who do this do not realize what they do to other people. Like, you really be taking their childhood away, their life away. Like you said, we go through therapy, but it doesn't go away. It does not. We learn through therapy how to deal with it every day, but some circumstances that we've gone through do not go away. And what made me change and start to learn how to work through it is that the people who did this crap to me, their lives go on. Anybody who's abused any woman on this podcast, their lives go on. And we're sitting in our house depressed, sad, can't function, gaps in our memories, our childhood taken, all this stuff taken while they have families and they move on. And so I didn't get strength from this. No, I didn't. I learned how to deal with stuff day to day, so I don't have to keep reminding myself of stuff. And like Adoration says, we don't want to take it to our next relationship, but guess what? It still kind of pops up. What this gave me was trust issues. Can I trust the person that I'm with to not do the same thing that the other person's done?
Right.
I try not to bring it into the relationship. I really do. But if there's one similarity, my mind is like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yep.
And that person might not even be that way. Like they really might not be that way. Yeah. So it took me a lot to unload some baggage. That's what therapy did. I was able to unload some baggage so I don't take it in there. But I still at the beginning took it in there until I learned the person that I'm with now. So unless you like you said, unless you've been through it, like you really don't know what a person deals with. Even when it happened when I was started at 7 years old up until I was 18, and then to get in an abusive relationship, like you really don't know how much a person is holding on to. I have friends that when I finally told them, they're like, how come you didn't tell us? I didn't want to look stupid. I knew what type of friends I had.
You don't tell, like those conversations,
right?
Yeah,
those
I know what type
conversations
of
don't come
friends
easy.
I had.
Right?
Yeah, they're not going to be like, oh, girl, we got you. I've heard them talk about other women who have been through what I was going through. Why would I unload on you?
That right
Why
there.
would
And I
unload
think
on you?
that is that one right there is why I like podcasts like this, because what I notice what happens is a lot of people get shamed for speaking up about what it is. And this is men and women alike. You get like, oh, now you're trying to be, oh, that happened a long time ago. Why should we care now?
Get over it. Yeah,
even
get
with
over
the Cassie
it.
situation. Like I said, I known Diddy since I was a little girl. I could look at his eyes and see that. So Diddy, everybody was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's Diddy. But even people in the comments like, oh, she just wanted money. Oh, I'm like, well, to do a court case, you have to state, okay, what do you want? I was telling my brother, there is no, when you state a court case, there's no, oh, I just want people to know. You can't go to court and be like, I just want this to blow up. I want people to know what I've been through. That doesn't exist in court. You can go online and do that. But that concept doesn't exist. So in court, you have to say, okay, this is what I want. That's why when he settled quickly, it's out, it's gone. It's gone. Maybe she didn't want to go to court and battle it out.
And on top of that, with her settlement, I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to bet it comes with an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement,
100%,
where she has to agree not to ever talk about this again. There could be no books. Her husband can't talk about this. So again, is getting which brings me to my next thing, is getting a monetary award, judgment, or justice, or should I say, like, is that justice? Does that take away the pain that you've gone through if you've experienced it?
No. Take away the pain, not even close. Not even
Yeah,
close.
that's,
I mean,
that's tough.
But,
Man. You can't
like I
put
said,
it out there like that.
Well, I mean, so is it like a form of Novocaine? Does getting that money make you feel better? Well, like, would it make you feel better? So I'm asking the women on here, hypothetically, if you're in a situation like this to where you actually had a chance to actually go sue your abuser, would you? And would it be a form of Novocaine? Would it make you feel better about the situation, or would you feel like there was some type of redemption in getting some type of money, or would you actually want to see that person locked up?
Well, see, for me, I'd rather see his balls on fire.
Period.
But to me,
Period.
To me, I do stay on the fence with it. I mean, I've been pushed out of a car. Okay, so to me, there's no way that I would feel monetary. I do feel, and this is my opinion, this is no reflect or disrespect on anyone else's situation, because I don't know your situation, and I would never want to judge anyone on how they're feeling. But for me, I do feel that the monetary was more getting the money out of him than anything else. Because sometimes, it can still be on us and still hurt a woman, but I still feel that if that was the case and she was abused, she had many times to leave and go, and the period of the time, I understand that sometimes it can't, they say over a period of time, then they can deal with it. But I'm sorry, when it first happens, that's when you're the most fresh and the strongest that it's on there, and you don't forget any details of that part. As time goes on, you're trying to block it out. So you're gonna miss those important details. And I think it was more, and she's moved on and got married and everything. And I understand that it can happen, like Adoration said, in a relationship, but I think it was more of her really just getting the money? Because the money is not going to help you, but make you live a better life. So did you want to live better because your record deals now are not this, and he cost you that? You didn't go any further with your music career because of him? You know, I think it was because of that. Because even the things like with Bill Cosby and all them, you know, they coming back 30, 40 years later. I mean, there's no way that you're going to remember every details. I can't remember mine, and mine was 35 years ago. So, you know what I mean? Just before while I was pregnant. So I'm just saying, like, people don't understand, like, some women will say, yeah, you know, that she should have got him like that. But no, it's too many signs there that because they can still be a gold digger, you know what I'm saying? And it could be also that it wasn't that bad, but some women will play on it like it was the worst thing. And and then it makes the ones that are really, really affected by it not be really looked at serious. Because when a woman I feel like when a woman does say, yeah, you know, I went through abuse, you know, they think like, yeah, right. They kind of downplay it like, oh, are you just saying it because you're mad because now you're not together with them? Because a lot of these other women that go public, it's always 30, 40 years later. You're not going to remember them. I'm sorry. Nobody's memory is that sharp to remember exact detail and what did he say to you and this and that. You know, you're going to remember most of them, but I really feel like some of them are. I feel like with the Cassie thing, I'm not just her. And then now with her having a file just before it ended, before she could do it, I think that was a money situation to just, there was a come up and she knew that, hey, I better hurry up and do it now because it's been, because look how many years was it? 5 or 7?
Something like that, like 2018.
Yeah. So
yeah, you looking at 5 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, because they didn't prosecute.
Real quick.
Play advocate.
Sure. Absolutely.
I just because I'm trying to look at it objectively. Diddy is a powerful dude. You know what I'm saying? And it takes money to catch money in trouble. So I do see the point where people are like, oh, she just took the bag and ran, you know. But what does justice look like when you going against somebody untouchable? And the only way you really can hurt them is the pockets. You know what I mean? So could she be looking at that as a form of justice by like, yeah, I hurt your pockets, bro. You so rich and untouchable, and I just hit you for 80, 90 million, you know, for you to have me shut up, because no other way am I gonna get the justice that I deserve at no point in time. He has enough money to fight you off, whether it be shutting you up today or shutting you up over 5 years because you can't keep affording to go to court.
Right.
You know what I mean? And keeping lawyers on retainer if you already in monetary problems, keeping a lawyer on retainer while you wait on court dates and he keeps getting extensions or you know what I'm saying? That's not a cheap road right there. You know what I mean? So
but most of it came from his insurance. Most of it came from his insurance.
Yeah,
when she put the LLC on that,
until you hit them in their pocket.
It's not. Yeah, and that wasn't all out of his pocket. You know what I mean? Some of it had to come from the LLC and all the company. That's why they were like, "Oh shoot, you know, she don't put that on there. You gotta, now you gotta double down." Them people ain't trying to get involved in that. The label and all them are not trying to get involved, so he can pull it from the insurance. That's why, you know, people see the amount, but it's really not hitting him, and she knows it's not gonna hit him, but it makes it puts more of a mark on him next to his name. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm sorry, if you really wanted to get him, right? And if anything, you really want to get him, you would have put his ass in jail. You know
It's the sexual violence. It's
no, she has the evidence. She has physical evidence.
He does.
So why would you not want to put him in jail? That's why it's kind of like people say, I'm gonna commit suicide, and they keep saying it to their mate, but then they know that they done passed 4 or 5 bridges to get over to their house. You know what I mean? You could have just went on and did it. So it's kind of like crime. You know, you kind of like are playing this crime wolf game. You know, so I would have just, a person that's really hurt and it's affecting their mind, they can't sleep. You're gonna take your chance when you can take that chance before the evidence is gone. So why not? And she probably didn't want people on her back, but now it's gonna look more like that on the back. You know what I mean? Because I would have filed charges. The charges would have had to stick. But I ain't worried about going to court. He can pay the court fees. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and we don't, we don't know everything else. So I'm saying just in that case of how it's looking from the outside, as opposed to real life, from my situation, I feel like that's what I went ahead and I prosecuted. There was no way I wasn't. You know what I mean? So at that point, I was scared for it because I know we all go in the same town and people. But at the end of the day, what I gotta look at my dad. Like my dad's like, you don't sit there and let this happen. My dad done pulled out the guns and went up to the job, and everything like this. I can't let my family think like I'm just playing games. And then they start looking like, okay, you brought it to us, or are you lying? So that's why the second time I was in it, I was like, I definitely can't tell them. I have to watch my moves and steps, because sometimes that's why when we were saying about dating in the last podcast, you have to know who you're getting with, because you can be in a situation and you may not see that, but you want to see how does a person communicate, or is it anger, or do they turn it away, or you feel like you're forcing them to talk? Because sometimes that can trigger them. If you're poking, trying to say, you can be saying it really nice, like, babe, just talk to me. Like, what's wrong? What's the matter?
Right.
And it can trigger and they can snap on you because they know they can power you. They can't power the person that they're really mad at, the man or somebody at work. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, you got to know, how does this person communicate, especially when they're upset? You know what I mean? You never know. And when you live with somebody, it's you and him behind those walls. Yeah, you can go and call the police later when you get a chance, but by then, are you going to live?
Be alive.
What I mean? To do that. So it's hard. When those two situations, two separate people happen, that's why I think I fell into, I don't need a man. I had that mindset. I'm make my own money. I'm do this. I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing, because I thought they were trying to overpower me. You know what I mean? And have that control. So
becomes like a
no.
defense mechanism, right?
It is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's been with me for so long that I've gotten accustomed to where I don't ask you for nothing. But if you do give it, that, oh, hey, I'm happy. I'm cool with that.
Right.
And I joke about it, but really that's how I think about it. Because even when I dated, I'm not going to say his name because I know he might get on YouTube, but he played for NBA, and he had a lot of problems with anger, because everyone else is watching basketball, and they don't understand that the media will put a lot in their heads when they're already mad, and then their teammates is doing it. So when the media says little sly stuff, and his thing was, and you guys, men might know who this is if I said it, but his weight issue would go up and down. So when you got fans saying, oh, are you washed up now? Are you this and that? And then the media says little sly remarks. Well, then here he comes to the house, and now I got to watch him punching holes in the wall.
Right.
Getting mad.
Shaq?
And then here I am thinking like, well, hell, I don't want to be that wall. So I don't know whether to be quiet or am I supposed to be supportive? So here I am thinking, well, I'm going to try to slide out and act like I'm going to my house now and say, hey, I'm going to see you later next weekend. But he's like, oh, so now you don't want to stay at the house? And so now it's triggering. So now what do I do? Try to play like, because I've been in a situation with abuse before. So then I'm thinking like, okay, what am I supposed to do? That kind of stuff scared me so bad. He's never put the hands on me. But because I had it in the past, that triggered me to say, oh, no, I'm not. And I would never. I never gave up my house. I never gave up nothing, because he would always tell me, quit your job, quit this. No. I'm not doing none of that, because I know that it was too much. And then then you got to see him in the media or on YouTube or on the news, he done went up in the stands and grabbed somebody, you know what I mean? And he had to go to court, and he done the judge was like, oh, you didn't put stitches in the man. Huh?
Run our test?
I said, that's pretty specific.
Don't say that.
Right, but I'm saying when he
what the name
you know what I mean?
Edward,
When
we're
he,
trying to figure out who it is. I
right.
see them wheels turning.
We both been over here like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out.
Run our test.
But you know how Ron Test is married. He's married. But I'm just saying, like, media can trigger when I'm saying, like, when it gets in sometimes their heads. And this man knows he knows God, he knows back and forth the Bible back and forth. He loves it. He's a mama's boy too. But it's just the point, like, some things can get in their head where the pressure gets on them, because you not only have your pressure from your team, you got your pressure from the media, and just like the internet eats us up. We're just getting to that. Remember, back in the day, there was no social media.
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
media.
Right.
So the whole world is talking about you. You know what I mean? So just imagine behind closed doors, it's a whole nother situation with them people.
Yes.
Because they're up there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Very
So,
true.
I got you.
but
Jessica,
that's all I'm saying.
you've been
What's
a
his
little
name
quiet.
again? No, I said,
Jessica,
what's his name
Jessica
again?
been a little quiet. So I just wanted to know, like, so what are your thoughts, like, with Cash supplement the justice, or how do you feel about that?
I would definitely ask for Cash, because if you put it in perspective, she's probably putting a lot of money in therapy. She could have not been working because of this, because I know when I was going through my situation, I miss work. So how am I supposed to be compensated for that? So I would definitely ask for money.
Agreed.
And
Well,
then it's true.
in Cassie's situation, I doubt that she's pushing the 9 to 5. She's married. Again, it's kind of like what Dee said, and I'm just playing advocate. I'm being a jerk, but I'm also being real about the situation too. I mean, like I said before, the way that a singer is going to eat is basically essentially how you word and write your contract, and pretty much how you get paid. But the real way for an entertainer to get paid, or a singer, or per se, is you have to actually write your material. You have to have your publishing. So I'm not sure if necessarily she was like a singer-songwriter. I believe she probably had other people writing her tunes. But like we were saying earlier, she only had like maybe like 1 or 2 like hits. But then other than that, I mean, no one's really like, hey, I'm about to go buy that Cassie album. No one was talking or checking for it like that. So, so essentially she played the role of being Diddy's girlfriend. Like, she's an artist on his label, but she was his girlfriend. And here comes the perks, the private jets, the this and this and that. Now that she's in this new situation, which is like, I can kind of get it. Like, maybe, you went through something and now you want to go for it. But now it seems like, okay, maybe money might be tight. You know what I'm saying? So you're already you're going to him saying, hey, if you don't want this tell-all book to come out, give me 30 million. And he says, no, okay, when I'm going forward with these allegations, and boom, 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 all this comes out. I think why he settled, this is allegedly, was because maybe she may have some receipts. There could have been some more stuff. She probably had witnesses. So in order for this to die out, let's just go ahead and kill it, because he has business that could be affected by it.
Yeah.
I think she definitely has some receipts.
But
I would because Danity Kane came out. I can't remember the blonde haired girl, but Danity Kane was like, why'd you settle? She's asked, why did you settle? Like, she said, I've been telling people about this for years and nobody wanted to listen to me. So Cassie was the one that was like the starting point of this, to where I've been telling y'all all this has been going on, to where it could have triggered even more people than what's coming out now. Like, she was so upset that she took the funds, because they really thought this was a way for them to unload the floodgates, if you might say.
But I think in essence it does. Does it not open the floodgates? Because now we already have a perception of Diddy, like, since you did pay the money, bro, maybe you do got some stuff going on. So maybe it is time to start listening to some of these other people that you tried to silence with poverty. Essentially, that's what he did. Diddy tried to silence all these people that he did wrong with poverty by not paying them and having complete ownership of a lot of their materials and stuff. I kind of made you, this God complex he had, that we seen from making a band and all, you seen the people to walk 30 miles to get cheesecake and shit. You've been having God complex. You've been abusing people. None of that had nothing to do with being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You just have this complex as an individual, to where people should listen to you. And if they don't, you're gonna make it real uncomfortable for them. You might even blow their shit up.
Said it was Aubrey. Yeah, it was Aubrey who said that. That she was upset that she settled, that she had been saying stuff for years about Diddy and nobody was listening. And that's probably, and he probably was really thinking he was above approach. Like,
But
like you said, sending
let's
people
be
out
realistic,
all for all the cheesecakes and stuff and doing all this. Like, he really been technically abusing people, but people are just like, oh, it's Diddy. No, let it go. Just like all these clips are coming out with different people. Like, I saw one where he was talking to Justin Bieber when Justin Bieber was a teenager, like little, when Justin Bieber first came out. And he was asking Justin Bieber, like, why you haven't called me back? Why we haven't hung out? Like, this is a teenager. Why would your old ass want to hang out with a teenager?
What that kid
why? And
Man.
Justin, and Bieber looked so scared. He wouldn't even walk over to him. He kept backing up away from him while he kept asking him questions. Like, all these little weird videos are coming out, and now it's like, like maybe,
the predator's
Diddy
been
did some
out there.
weird stuff.
Yeah, the predator been out on the loose. He just had too much money for anybody to say anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming out now.
So I got a quick
and it's only
question.
the beginning.
Yeah, and make sure if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this at, that domestic violence hotline number is down there. So if you need to use that, please use it. Want to make sure y'all caught wind of that. But I do want to, so for people, you ladies that have been in those situations, what does justice look like to y'all? Like, is it just jail time? Is it money? Is it, death? Is it like what does justice look like to you on an individual level? I'm not gonna say speak for everybody, but like for you personally.
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like that you asked that question because I was about to jump on what Jess had said earlier. I don't think that the justice system really offers the options that people would prefer. And I don't think there really is any good options. I'm sure her husband wanted to ride up to Diddy's place and shoot him down, but you can't do that. Our justice system doesn't offer that. Our justice system offers money. And I don't really know if there really is any type of justice that will really make a victim feel solidified. I mean, you kill the person. You're not gonna feel better about yourself.
Okay, let me ask you though, was he beating her?
That was part of it.
Here's the thing, though. We didn't get a chance.
That was part of it. There's also who was it? I think it was Young Jock said that he was there when he told her she had to shave the side of her head. Shave it. That's why she had that one side.
My
shave.
thing is messing up now.
It was a lot of mental, but I think there was some beating going on too. But it was a lot of mental abuse going on there, which can also be just as detrimental as physical.
Oh my
abuse.
God!
So
Yeah, most definitely.
But I guess I don't really know if there is any type of. I mean, everybody wants. I'm sure there's a point at everybody's life where they want the person to just die. Like I said, let the balls burn, this, that. But does it really change anything? I don't really know. I would prefer for people to be in jail because my thought is always, I don't want them to hurt the next person. Right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the justice system. It kind of offers money. Your kid gets run over by a car. The person was a drunk driver. They pay.
Yeah.
Everything is basically a punishment.
I mean, I feel to me, I think that's the easy route is to get money now, because for people who don't want to work, for people who don't want to work, for people who don't want to work, or for people who feel like the easiest way to kind of get a come up is to pretty much just go after somebody with money. But again, so what he did was by doing this, instead of actually playing advocate, playing for Diddy's side, if it wasn't true, then the best thing for you to do would be to fight that and take it all the way through. He had the money to fight it. But the fact that you sat up there and you settled with less than 24 hours and said, hey, I just want this all to go away, it kind of says something. It makes you look like, well, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you just might be guilty of this. I remember when they were trying to say this about Michael Jackson, like when the first accusations happened with the first kid, he settled. But it was his lawyers that made him settle, and he did not want to settle. He had tantrums. He was throwing and breaking stuff because he did not want to settle. So when the second accusations happened, he said, hey, I'm going to fight this. And he fought it, but you saw that it pretty much sucked his soul out of him because he fought it tooth and nail, and he had to pay money, and it broke him spiritually. You get what I'm saying? So,
but right there is what I agree with you on, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think that she went in thinking like, oh, I'm gonna settle in 24 hours. I think she thought her claim was so big that it was gonna be another big old thing and she was gonna have to fight. I don't think that she expected them to settle. And you have to remember that my sister, she takes law. So when she explains to me how law works, it's a long, drawn out process. And when you sit before lawyers, as much as they care about you, they don't really care about you. They care about just winning, ending it, getting what they're trying to get. So they're going in, you got Diddy's lawyer like, oh no, we're going to settle. We're going to see how much they want. Make sure you sign this. We got her lawyer like, oh, listen, if you don't take this, this is Diddy we're talking about. You know, you're not going to be able to go up against him in court. He'll crush you. So we have to take into account all these realities. It's not just like snap, throw him in jail. This is P. Diddy we're talking about. He's been doing this for years. And then on the other hand side,
R. Kelly is sitting in jail right now.
Right.
Harvey Weinstein is sitting in jail right now.
I was holding my tongue on that.
Great
he
point.
didn't even do half of that.
Let me say something about R. Kelly though, and this is just my personal opinion. I've been hearing about R. Kelly BS since I was like 7. I've been wondering why he wasn't behind jail. His stuff involved minors. His stuff involved a different level where you don't really get to even sign and be like, I don't want him to go to jail, or I agree to let him finish raising his kids. His level was Me Too level. Like there was a lot of underage people involved, people and their moms.
But he still went to jail, and everybody loves
in jail right now.
Everybody loves R. Kelly.
In jail.
Don't nobody like Diddy like that. I'm just
Right.
Hold on a second, adoration, because we gave you the floor. Kendra, how you doing? How are you? Unmute your mic.
Kendra.
Your mic.
I got it.
Oh, there it is.
All
right.
I'm
good.
How are you?
Good.
All right. So, what are your 3 cents?
Oh, I'm just listening. I agree with everybody so far, but they've been saying this about Diddy for years, guys and girls, entertainment, everybody. He's, all this has been going on for years. This is nothing new.
All right.
Right. It ain't.
But what I always wanted to know is, what did he do to Bentley? Where's Bentley? No one has seen him since.
Yeah.
It's like he fell off the face of the earth. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still. Yeah, he is.
Oh.
He's designing. He's still like being stylist for people. But he keeps his distance.
He got a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so,
I'm pretty sure
what's
he
that
does.
lady? What's the lady name? What's her name?
Jaguar, right?
Jaguar. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, she done threatened
It's
her
a
life.
catch-22 with Jaguar, man. Like again, where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's some stuff that I believe, but she comes off and appears crazy as cat shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but this case right here is making her look like a genius. I mean, because she's called it.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of been the animus, man. Some of these people that we think is crazy as bad shit been telling us the truth the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
It's been a lot of instances where people that was written off as crazy come out, 10 years down the line, and they wasn't so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We didn't help destroy their life by believing the crazy hype. You know what I'm saying? This monster been roaming free this whole entire time because we think somebody crazy, and they've been giving you all the sauce, and it just seems so unfathomable because of, once again, like the word of the day, the perception of the person they're speaking of is so high in esteem. We couldn't imagine. Ain't no way you out there doing that. Like, hey, this person got to be crazy, and no, they're not crazy. It takes I think it takes a lot of courage to come out and publicly say some shit about people that you just know is false. You got to be in a even if you're crazy, like that's kind of like not one of the steps. And who gives you platforms to come out in the general public and make accusations out loud and then turn around and still not believe you? You know, that's crazy to me.
Right. And then we
I have
spoke about the justice system and why we would prefer to have them locked up or prefer compensation. When I was doing my research on it, and plus I've known people who have family members that this has happened to. But sometimes when you report it and y'all live together and y'all married or whatever, some police will just disregard it. Y'all married. Oh, you just had a little argument. Oh, he said he won't do it again. Just separate for 24 hours and he comes back. Oh, no, miss, you can't kick him out the house. He lives here. He got a toothbrush here. He has clothes here. You can't kick him out the house. He has residency here. So they don't take him. And then if some of these people are arrested and prosecuted, I read that there's a large percentage that they get probation. So you telling me he has probation, he's still out here, he could possibly still stalk me or beat on the other person that he gets with before.
And he's more pissed than ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then
Right.
what could also happen to the extreme is this married woman or this woman is tired of this man doing the stuff to her and he's beating on her right then and there, and there's a gun in the home and she shoots him and she kills him. What happens to her? She goes to jail.
Yep.
She goes to jail. I know someone in their family who personally has a family member in jail right now. It was self-defense. But since he died, she's in jail and and she's been in there a very long time. So that's why a lot of times too, women don't come up and be like, I want to prosecute, just give me the cash and I'll take it. Because it's some type of a little amount of justice, because they might be afraid that he won't get prosecuted to the full extent of the law, whichever that is for people who are being abused.
Right.
Well, I can say right now, my cousin is doing life for doing it. And he not only beat on his woman, but he also beat on the little boy, and he beat on him so hard that he hit for peeing on himself, and he was 3 years old. So he was in the tub. He put him in the tub, and I guess he was trying to whoop him again. And he, in the tub you slip and fall, so he hit his head. So he put him in the bed thinking like, okay, and he didn't know what he was going on because he's still young, like maybe 23, 24. So the next thing you know, he calls our other cousin and says he's not even moving and stuff. I don't know if he went to sleep. And she was just basically like, you need to call the ambulance, or whatever. So they did. Well, of course, they rushed him to the hospital because the police had came earlier. And I want to say, the week when he was beating on the mother. And they had already another little girl. And so what happened is the police showed up and they tried to say that he was it was the TV. That's what he was saying to the police. Police never walked inside, never looked around, never checked with the wife, check her body or anything. Once this happened with the little boy in the tub, then the ambulance came and everything. So they understand that accidents could have happened. But he had old bruises on him. And we're talking about a 3-year-old, and then we're talking about this big old oversized dude,
Wow.
and he's not working. But so what they did was in California, if the wife don't report it, she go to jail too. She was pregnant with their 3rd child, and she went to jail too, both of them, because she was going to work every day. Wow. He didn't have a job, but he was controlling her mind because he already had a statutory rape that her mother put on him because the girl was 16 when he was first dating her. She kept wanting to be with him and everything. So it was a problem. So now when she went to prison, and he did too, she had the baby in jail. So there's 2 girls. Those 2 girls, we just reunited again with them a couple of years ago. But they wouldn't give them to us or any family members because they felt like, well, if you don't even know them really, why are the other one that was, because the other one hadn't been born yet, we can't give them to you guys because you didn't protect them. You know what I'm saying? If you knew this was you should have known this was going on, so you wasn't around enough. So it's not going to matter if you're going to foster care or not. So basically, that's what happened. He stayed over in, I forget the jail that's over there in Rancho, but he stayed there for a while, like about almost 10 years before they finally did his case. And then his brother, which is my cousin that passed away last year on Thanksgiving, we was real tight. And I would tell him, he said it hurt him because he didn't know that he had hit him with the bat before. So the bruises was old. So that's what I'm saying. and his mother had him later because his sister and brother are like 20, 30 years older than him. So, and his dad had a stroke. So some psychological stuff because my aunt, just my mom's older sister, she used to beat on them. Like, so he's seen his whole life was beat, and she would beat his older brother, older sister, because his sister never would come back to California. Once she left the military, she didn't come back. And my son has never seen her. So that's what I'm saying. Some things work in their heads, and he could overpower the girl, and he would beat on her and be on it. But because she didn't report it or call the police once she got to work, she could have saved her child's life. So she lost complete custody of her kids. She still to this day could not have custody. They were gonna stop her from having kids. Like, I didn't know they could do that, but in California they can do that.
They do that.
And so now he's in there. They end up giving him life instead of death. So he's in there for life. But our family just don't deal with him at all. So it's kind of hard now that it's been about 20-some years, and one of his daughters, she's kind of like, you can tell she's angry. And I'm just hoping that it don't happen to her where she takes that anger and rolls over. Like how we say the curse,
Generational curse.
Right. And so she said, she asked me a couple of months ago, do you think my dad was a monster? And I was like, I don't feel that he was a monster. I just feel that people, of course, the people change now, but I just think that he didn't have the resources to understand, how he was doing things. So it is hard. Like that woman still, she doesn't have no rapport with her children, really. They don't respect her, but they stay their distance because of the foster mother. She ended up adopting them. So that's what I'm saying. Like it can go to where death can happen with the child, not just with the woman getting abused, with the child. So it's like, as I keep seeing all this stuff, it's like, that's why I tell people, that's why I like to work with the youth a lot, because even if their mother don't tell, at least the child can come and tell. You know what I'm saying? Because if they see it, open up and say something, because it's not okay. And some people think, well, they don't want that, people to talk bad about their dad or whatever, or it's okay. That'll help your dad. If you're watching, that'll help your dad get help. That'll help your mom get help, or whatever the case may be. Because mine, she didn't see no different. I mean, she was throwing skillets.
To do that, you would have to get rid of the age-old adage of what happens in this house stays in this house.
Right. And you're gonna have to.
Community. You know what I'm saying? We live by that code. Like, don't be outside telling people about business. And that starts early. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
I remember hearing it forever in a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Having it staying here. So you got to get rid of that first. And secondly, I would think that the community of victims should be advocating for police to do a whole lot more on the first instance. You know what I mean? Just like the story, that's not the first time I heard that. Like, came and then they left.
They don't.
And they came back, you know what I'm saying? And somebody dead now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There should be some protocol change when it comes. I mean, California is pretty good about it for the most part, but I'm not just saying that coming from California, but California is really strict on that domestic violence since OJ thing. But in the U.S., just in general, it happens quite too frequently that the police showed up and nothing was done. And you come back and somebody beat to a pulp, or dead, or the kids dead, or he even killed everybody and himself, and you know what I mean. So I would think that there needs to be more advocacy to have the police, intervene. As much as I hate to say that, oh my God, to intervene more assertively and frequently when it comes to violence calls. You know what I'm saying? There should be a pro. You have to check everybody in the house, make sure everybody, like, it should be something further than, oh yeah, that was just TV. Okay, let me go about my day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And somebody call you, they get beat on, and they not the one who answered the door. So you should probably be trying to figure out where they at.
Yeah. They feel sorry now.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, the dude beating their ass. I'm like, oh no, nothing going on. We good.
Right.
Of course.
Like Quez said, we gotta also stop saying "stay for the kids." I say to men and women all the time, "Leave for the kids, leave for the kids," and that, like I said, that goes for men and women. You know, there's men who are also, oh, that's the mother. If I say anything, I'm gonna lose my kids because, you know, the kids usually go with the mother. So I know men who stayed in their relationships with their wives who were abusive to their kids because they thought that at least me being here is protecting my kid. And it's not true. You're not protecting nobody.
Right.
And that goes for women and men. You're not protecting anybody because that abuse, like you said, goes on to the child. You got, if you know, leave for the kids.
Yep.
I like that. That's a good
And
statement.
you know what happens when it's both the parents. You remember y'all heard about the story that was over here in Menifee, and the parents had those 12 kids or whatever. Remember they never let them
I
out the
heard
house.
about
Remember
that.
that?
The Turpin children.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of don't
I
like.
can't.
Like,
I can't
once you
touch.
hear it,
I can't touch too much on that, like legally. But
right.
yeah, I mean
But
that was
it's
crazy.
funny.
But
It
it's like you said, it's a trip when it's both parents, especially like foster
Right.
parents and stuff. So, man, you know, this has been heavy. I don't want to interrupt anybody. Anybody else got anything else they want to add to it before we kind of like close it out?
I just want to say that I'm kind of, and I know that it's been used on here because people have gone through it, but I don't like the word victim. People who have been through it are survivors. So I would prefer to use the word survivor when we speak about people who have gotten away from abusive relationships.
Very
We're
true.
no longer
noted.
All right.
Kendra, you got anything you want to add?
No. Other than there's some sick people in this world.
Yeah.
Jessica?
No, nothing else really. Just for those that are in it, don't keep your family out of it, because I kept my family and friends out of it, not out of being embarrassed about it, just to pretty much save them, because they were he was threatening to harm my family. So I really didn't speak about it. A lot of the times they're threatening you. They could do it, they could not, I don't know. But I would definitely just keep your family, keep your family and your friends involved in it. That was the mistake that I made.
Same here.
Got you.
No, I'm just, I'm good with it. I mean, I've blocked it out for so many years and probably wasn't good, but I always want to speak to the youth, always, or anybody that's going through it. And I mean, even now, like, I always feel like this, even if you're watching, we are not professionals. But if you let me speak for me. If you hit me in the inbox and you say I need a ride right now, I don't care if it's 3:00 in the morning. I don't have to know you. I'm coming. I'm coming to get you. And that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And then we make a move after, we know I know you safe and cool. I don't need to know your details. All I need to know is that you're safe. And we can work on the rest, a day at a time, an hour at a time, whatever the case may be. But reach out and you deal with it, because you don't know if you're gonna live. You know what I mean? This is not no joke. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what it feels to be choked, and you do, like, you trying to catch your breath. That you just cut your airtime off even more. So it's not a good feeling when you feel like you about to really die. Like, that person is not. That's not love. And of course, they know it's not love, but the more we say it, it's not going to collect. Especially when you say, call the police. They know when he goes to sleep. But your mind state don't think to do that, because the first thing you think is the police is going to probably side with him. Or just like what Quest said, it's going to just be a domestic thing and they just go off on their own. You know what I mean? So at least you know if you reach somebody that's going to be on your level, that's going to say, you know, hey, I understand the police is not going to, but we're going to just first get your mindset out of that, remove you from that environment to another environment. Then you make your move what you want to do. But you got to have a happy life. You got to do that. That's all I'm saying is, you know,
good stuff.
Especially when they're too young. You know what I mean? It's not a certain age, but especially when you start out and you start dating a guy and you're in high school, cut that mess off. Cut it off. You know what I mean? Because it's not good. Trust me, you're going to find plenty more boyfriends. Cut it off. I'm telling you, as I tell you, Kendra, no. I had to get thrown out of a moving car before I realized, this ain't cool. This ain't what it is supposed to be. You know, I had already. So the next time he kicked me, and between my legs, and I'm bleeding, and it's just a mess. I left him in jail. You know what I mean? And just went forward. You have to know that it's enough. You know, and know your worth. And I'll end with that.
Got you. Hear you. Adoration.
I'm sorry. No, I was just saying amen. I'm sorry because that same thing happened to my grandmother. They had a kid and she was having my dad and he didn't want another kid. So he was trying to beat the baby out of her and he pushed her out the moving car. So when you said that and she got away. She got away. So my dad, was born.
Good.
Good stuff.
I got one thing to add as far as domestic violence. This for the men.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know how to get over rejection. Like this happened years ago and it's still happening to this day. Like when they trying to holler at a woman and the woman don't want them, they got to learn how to get over that. Like what is it in them that is like so butthurt that they want to hurt the woman just for rejecting, their advances? Because I was almost brutally raped, but I was brutally beaten to the point where I was about to be raped over just rejecting a guy. And I see now they shooting women over that. Look like that woman a few weeks ago who got beat with the brick.
Yeah.
It's just I don't understand
I
that.
couldn't help you with that one. I don't understand it either. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't understand it either.
Right.
It's definitely
crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a percentage of people that need to be addressed with that.
Right. And then the woman with the brick that came out that she faked that, but
she was like,
but the situation of it doesn't take away from it.
Yeah,
Some men
those real situations happen.
I do know one that was shot.
It came out she faked that whole thing.
I know one that was shot.
She's been going around doing this to men to collect money. So yeah.
You know
but
what?
That situation doesn't take away
over a rejection. So
yeah, because there's all kinds of stuff. One man, I think he kicked the woman's car in, or no, he used a grocery basket and kept running it into her car because she kept telling him no. So there are men out there some men that do that, yeah. But they need to work on their mental state. That's what that is.
Right.
Their narcissistic behavior thinks that no woman should be able to tell them no, and then they react on that. So that's all they need to work on their mindset.
That's it.
Quez, you got anything?
Yeah, close it out, man. I just want to say big thank you to everybody that shared today, man. I could imagine is difficult, no matter where you are in your process. And sharing that with the world is a noble thing to do, and we appreciate you for that. And I'm pretty sure you helped somebody out there. So that's all I had. I appreciate it. I learned a lot today just from hearing you guys' stories and answering the questions, the hard to answer questions. I mean, I appreciate it. So that's what I got for y'all to close it out.
All right. So third closeout is, again, I want to thank all the women who came on today, shared their stories, shared their experiences. Tisha, I heard what you said about victims, or calling survivors victims, but again, we're speaking to people who are probably going through this silently. Who are probably there are people who are still trying to figure out a way. So yeah, they're survivors, which you ladies who've gone through it, again, tremendous heart. Yes, you women are survivors, but the cold reality is that we have some victims, And there's some silent victims who are actually, going through this right now as we speak. So the thing about this platform is that I hope is that, you're seeing these women right now, saying that, it's tough to get through, but you're gonna get through, and you can see that they have the courage that they're still here. So if they can do it, you can too. So I want to talk to the people out there. Don't suffer in silence. Like Jessica said before, use your family. That's what your family is here for. If you have people in your family who are causing the abuse, then yes, seek help outside of that, because nobody, especially children, especially women, should have to go through that, have to live through that, because again, it's you only have one life to live. And again, we want to try to stop these generational curses of seeing of men seeing their mothers get beat. So they're either gonna succumb to that, and they're either gonna reject that. They're either gonna want to repeat the patterns that they see, or they're gonna run away from that and become the best version that they can be. But it does start off with ourselves, and like Adoration said, I guess it starts really at home. So we have to be careful, especially I'm speaking to the men. Be careful how you talk and how you treat your woman. If you get angry, just step away. Go take a breather. Go talk to somebody. Go seek help. If you have some internal stuff, don't be too ashamed to say, hey, I may need some help. Go seek therapy, seek mental help. Don't project your hurt out onto other people, especially a woman, because this woman is the one who's the closest to you. But you have to be man enough to admit that you need help. And getting help, there's nothing shameless about that. That's actually big of you, and actually man of you, to actually admit that. We as men are supposed to be there to protect our wives, protect our children, and that's what we need to be. If you are giving them hurt, how can they run to you as a protector? They're going to seek somebody else who may protect them, or they're going to run to other things. Some women will run to the streets. Women who have been sexually abused, they run to other men to think that that's what equates to love. So we have to be that example of what it means to actually be a solid foundation for our women and our children. Women, if you are abused, or please, again, don't remain silent. Seek help. Seek help. If you're getting raped or if you're sexually abused, call the police right away. Get the rape kit so you can get some type of justice. Please do not wait, because evidence dries up, evidence goes away, and it'll be harder for you to fight your case. And so therefore, if you're sitting with that and you have to live with that, you can project that out onto your children. You can project it onto your partner, who may not be that guy, but you see that person who has abused you in that guy all the time. So there's nothing wrong for you to admit that, hey, I may need some help to try to get over this too. And again, if you need some help, you have the hotline right here. Like Dee said, that was beautiful what Dee said. If you need some type of assistance from any of us, my inbox is open. You can hit dropyour3cent@gmail.com. I'll check it. We're not experts, but again, hopefully you're seeing these people here on this panel and seeing that, hey, they can make it through. This is an example of what a strong woman is. And you can encourage to be that too. You don't have to be a victim. You can be a survivor as well. You can overcome that and help the next person who may need that help. Right. So yeah, just don't remain silent. Seek help. Use your family. Use your resources if you have them. But you don't have to go through that alone. It's just sad. It's really sad. So
end it on a smile, at least, everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is my birthday weekend, but again, I think this was important. Normally, we'd be doing some festive stuff, drinking our libations and stuff and partying, but this was this was heavy. But I think it needed to be had because of the situation, the severity of it. This is something that, me and my lady, we talk about. And so, we had to bring it to the forefront, and hopefully this helps somebody. I'm praying that it helps somebody. So this is what this is. If you watch the rebroadcast, we are here. We got you. We love you. We might be here tomorrow again. We might just do a special birthday turn up so we can,
hey, happy birthday.
Hey, one time for one time.
You know what I'm saying? It's the SAG season. Sagittarius is in the building. Shout out to my fellow SAG right here. You know what I'm saying? We are the greatest. And shout out to Kendra. We are the greatest.
Yep.
Here we go.
So,
I know my quest. I had to agree. Here we go.
Right.
We've been doing this since November.
I
November
noticed.
1st was pre-Saturday.
Yeah, I
I started
noticed.
since
It wasn't even
October.
your turn. Y'all was already out there, just like
I didn't even know
serious about
I didn't even know there was a Scorpio season because Scorpios have remained quiet. All I seen was Sagittarius is represented. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, Scorpios are silent.
I think they just came and went. You know, it's all about Team Sag over here. But anyway, we love you guys. We'll be back next week. We'll figure out something and maybe a little bit more. But no, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably be back tomorrow. We'll see what's going on.
let's do it.
If you guys are available, yeah, we'll be here. We'll be partying, getting drunk, watching the Grinch or something. Adoration, I appreciate you for your commitment, from being halfway across the country, for showing up. I love you for that, and I appreciate you. Jessica, I love you. Thank you for coming through. I think that's it. So we're gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a safe one. Peace.
All right.
Yeah.